Praise the true and living power, Israel. Today, let's have a discussion about Mary, the mother of salvation. Okay. Before we can begin to understand Mary, the mother of salvation, let's get some understanding of what led up to that. Okay. Um, what I'm going to be discussing with you all, I'll give you scriptures that you may go and study and read for yourself. Um, but where we're going to start is we're going to start out with Isaiah chapter 1. And in the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, the prophet Isaiah is shown a vision of four kings. And these four kings are kings of Judah: Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. Now, the one king that we're going to be discussing is the one that is the king at the time of the prophecy of Mary. Okay, that would be King Ahaz. King Ahaz was 20 years old when he began to reign as king. He was a king in Judah, and he reigned as king for 16 years. And you can read the story about King Ahaz over in 2 Kings, the 16th chapter, and also 2 Chronicles 28. I highly encourage you to go and read all of 1st and 2nd Kings and 1st and 2nd Chronicles, because there you will see the character and nature of man, king, prince, how be thee ever. You'll be able to see the character and nature of what our ancestors have been like as leaders over the Most High's people, and how they handled their roles of leadership and influencing the Most High's people, and um, how the Most High had to deal with them based off of how they ruled. Okay, so I highly encourage you to go and check it out. But getting back to King Ahaz, again, he was 20 years old when he began to reign as king, and he was king for 16 years. And according to 2 Kings, the 16th chapter, it says that he did not that which was right in the eyes of God. Okay, so what was he doing? He was worshiping other gods. And we know that the first and second commandment tells us not to have any other gods before the Most High, and not to make any images of any other gods, not to bow down and worship them. Okay, so he broken the first and second commandment right off the bat. So in 2 Kings, the 15th chapter, verse 37, you will read that the Most High himself actually stirred up Risen, the king of Syria, and Pekah, Remaliah's son, the king of Israel at that time, to go up against Ahaz to lay siege to it. He would not allow them um, to conquer them, but he did allow them to go up and wage war against them because Ahaz was worshiping idols. And we have to understand that because of the prophecies and because of the promises that the Most High has made with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, King David, and he made promises, and there have been prophecies that the Most High has spoken and written that all have come to pass and are still coming to pass. So he has mercy upon mercy upon mercy on Judah, um, because of that. So where we might see him have mercy, when we see him having mercy upon Judah, we saw that he put the 10 northern tribes, the other 10 tribes that make up Israel, he put them out of his sight. But Judah, he had mercy on them. But anyway, they were all doing the same stuff. They were all worshiping idols and worshiping the gods of the people that were around them, the nations of people that were around them that was not the Most High's people. So here King Ahaz he's worshiping idols, graven images, and other gods that are false gods. And he's got the Most High's people doing it too. And we have to realize, I mean, this is a king that's doing this. So when the Most High sent those two other kings up against him to wage war against them, um, you would think that King Ahaz would have repented and would have asked for forgiveness for doing, such heinous things, breaking, laws and commandments of the Most High, and leading his people to do the same thing. But we don't read where he did that. In fact, what he did was he enlisted the help of the king of Assyria to come and help him. Um, he sent messengers to the king of Assyria to come and help him because, they're under attack. The Bible says that he took all the gold out of the house of God, out of the gold out of his own house, and he offered that as a gift for the king of Assyria to come and help him. Well, of course, the king of Assyria obliged, and the king of Assyria, went into Damascus, which is the capital of Syria, and he uh, fought against the Syrians, and he slew King Rezin, and he took the people captive. And while he was there at Damascus, King Ahaz went to go and meet him after that defeat. And while he was there was an altar that was there that the Syrians worshipped at. He took the fashions and the dimensions of that, and he gave it to his priest Uriah and told him to make him a replica, make him one just like it. And this is a priest, mind you. He did what King Ahaz told him to do. So by the time King Ahaz gets back to Jerusalem, he wastes no time worshiping at the altar. He wastes no time having the people worship at that altar. Um, he even took the bronze altar out of the court of the Most High, out of the front of the house of the Most High, in front of the house of God, and he put it on the side on the pavement with no support. And he put the abominable altar that he had Uriah make him, that was like the one in Syria, and put that in its place. And he began to worship at that altar. The people worship at that altar. Then he went even further than that when he said to the king of Assyria that he was his son and that he was his servant. All of that constituted that King Ahaz broke covenant with the Most High. Now, in him doing that, breaking covenant with the Most High to become a servant to a man, the king of Assyria, um, they lost their benefits. There are benefits to worshiping the true and living power. There's the hedge of protection, the love of him fighting all our battles and all of our enemies and adversaries and so on and so forth. His people lost that. 120,000 men lost their lives, as a matter of fact, when they were seized, when they were in war with Rezin and the king of Syria. So all that's happening, but it's also leading up to the prophecy about the Virgin Mary. To kind of speed things up, to make a long story short, when King Ahaz broke covenant with the Most High, what he did was he treaded down the courts. So because they were worshiping idols and graven images, and then he done made a covenant with man, there was no way that the Most High's people were saved. So then, when he did all of that, the Most High was no longer among his people. So then, what the Most High did was he has a backup. He tells, which we're going to talk about, Isaiah the 7th chapter with the prophecy of Mary, the mother of salvation. So when the Most High not being among his people, if you go and read Isaiah the third, I highly encourage you to read all of Isaiah 1 and then read Isaiah the third chapter, because in Isaiah the third chapter, the Most High says that he was going to remove the host of bread and the host of water, meaning the prudent man, eloquent orator, the mighty man of valor, the priests, and also the prophets out of Judah and Jerusalem. That's what he said that he was going to do as a result of what King Ahaz was doing. And also, the king of Israel, they were also worshiping idols as well. So he did exactly what he said that he was going to do. They were all following suit because the Most High, I don't think that the Most High didn't know that they were going to do what they did. The mere fact that King Ahaz was even worshiping idols at all, don't think the Most High didn't know he was going to do it. Again, when the Most High prophesies about something, and then he also writes that it has no choice but to happen. So they were all following the what they had to do. You know, King Ahaz couldn't have done anything different if he had wanted to, because it was already prophesied that The Most High was going to give us a new and better covenant. Okay, so read Isaiah the third chapter where the Most High removed the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. Okay, so then if you read Isaiah 7:14 where it talks about the prophecy about the Virgin Mary, it says, "Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." Now, if we read it like this, "Behold, a virgin, chosen vessel," which Mary was a chosen vessel, "shall conceive," conceive meaning think and understand, and bear meaning procreate, produce offspring, bear fruit, beget a son, meaning the anointed word of the true and living power, oil, meaning sacred name, meaning the anointed word of the true and living power, and shall call his name Emmanuel, and Emmanuel meaning the Most High with us. We see all the things that King Ahaz did that caused the Most High to not be among his people. But then we read over in Isaiah the 7th chapter, verse 14, where the Most High is prophesying that he is going to put himself back among his people. Now, I know that many of you think and believe that Mary, the mother of salvation, the mother of Christ, which Christ means anointed, gave birth to flesh. But I'm going to come back on here with a part two to get a little more in depth with this, to give you even more understanding about what the Most High brought to pass. Because when Mary, the mother of salvation, we see over in the new covenant, we see the Most High giving us a new and better covenant that he prophesied that he would do with putting himself back among his people. So until the next time, stay tuned, stay blessed, and as always, in all that getting, get understanding, because understanding is a wellspring of life. Okay? Until next time, be blessed. And all praises to the true and living power, for he is worthy to be praised. Thank you.